Hello, Emily. We are now at our third museum for the day. This museum tells the story of Otto Weiss' workshop for the blind. During the Second World War, the brush manufacturer Otto Weiss employed mainly blind and deaf Jews. They produced brooms and brushes. Various life stories testify to Otto Weiss' effort to protect his Jewish employees from persecution and deportation. As danger grew, he searched for hiding places for some of them. One of these hideouts was in the rooms that are now part of the museum. So we'll just kind of come and take a look. Jews in Berlin from 1933 to 1945. Immediately after the Nazis came to power on January 30th, 1933, the Jews began to be ostracized and deprived of their civil rights. At this time, around 160,000 Jews lived in Berlin, approximately 4% of the city's population. On April 1st, 1933, the Nazis carried out the first major anti-Jewish operation, a boycott of shops and businesses owned by Jews. The Nuremberg laws of September 1935 defined Jews as a race and degrade them to second-class citizens. Marriage between Jews and non-Jews are banned. In the course of the nationwide pogrom organized by the Nazi state on November 9, 1938, 12,000 Jewish men from Berlin are deported to concentration camps. Some are murdered, synagogues are set on fire, Jewish shops and businesses are devastated and plundered. Around 80,000 Jews from Berlin are able to leave Germany between 1933 and the beginning of the war in 1939. From October 1941 to the end of the war in 1945, around 55,000 Jews from Berlin are deported, most of them murdered. Many Berlin Jews see no way out except to commit suicide. After liberation in May 1945, there are only around 8,000 Jews living in Berlin. Most of them escaped deportation because they were married to non-Jews. Around 1,900 Jews survived the camps. Up to 7,000 Jews had gone into hiding, but only 1,700 of them were able to survive. The others were betrayed or arrested, gave themselves up to the police, or died of illness, or perished in air raids. Otto Weiss' workshop for the blind. In 1936, Otto Weiss establishes his firm under the name Otto Weiss Workshop for the Blind in the basement of Grascher Benstraße 92 in the Berlin district of Kreuzberg. From 1940 on, the workshop is based at Rosenthaler Strasse 39 in the Mitte district, occupying the entire first floor of the wing of the building. Blind and deaf Jews produce brooms and brushes for the workshop. The factory is classified as important for the war effort because some of its products are made to order for the Wehrmacht. Otto Weiss manages to protect his workers from deportation for some time by bribing Gestapo officers. Although its workforce is severely reduced after the deportations, in 1943 the workshop for the blind maintains production until shortly before the end of the war. After the war, Otto Weiss continues running the firm. His wife Elsie takes over after his death in December 1947. In 1952, the Provisioning Office of East Berlin City Council closes down the workshop for the blind. So I hope you're understanding that, much like Oskar Schindler used his money and connections to protect Jews, Otto Weiss did the very same thing. Let's continue through the workshop. You can see, obviously those stools are probably not from the era, but this is a picture of many of the workers that he had in his business. And you can see here the list of their names and what happened to them after the war. Fate unknown, murdered 1943 in Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. Next one, survived the Nazi dictatorship because of his mixed marriage. Another one survived because of his mixed marriage. Fate unknown, fate unknown, fate unknown. survived the Nazi era in hiding, died in Auschwitz, died in 1947, that was Otto Weiss. The next person died in Dachau concentration camp, died in Auschwitz, died in 1987 in Israel. So Alice Licht survived the Holocaust and was able to resettle in Israel. Next person murdered in 1944 at Auschwitz. Next person survived because of their mixed marriage. Next person died in Auschwitz. Next person died in Auschwitz, died in Auschwitz, died in Auschwitz, died in Auschwitz, died in Auschwitz. So many of the people that he helped survived, but many of them also were found by the Nazis and were subsequently murdered in the concentration camps.